Sunday. I am Michelle Burcham. I am the Children's Director at Sanctuary Christian Fellowship, and I'm excited to have another week of fun activities for you. This week we are going to focus on the letter N. So when I was thinking about the letter N, I thought about a lot of things actually. First off, my nose starts with the letter N. Nutella is one of my favorite things, and I do have some in my pantry. Maybe you have some in yours. Check and see. What about nickels, napkins, nature? Also, the book of Numbers, and that's where our story comes from today. Numbers 13:1 through 14:38. We are going to learn about Joshua and Caleb, and I'm really excited to dive into this story. So if you have your Bibles, go ahead and open it up, and you can follow along with me. If not, I'm just going to read the story to you. So God told Moses to send men to scout out the land of Canaan. He said, I'm giving this land to the Israelites. I want you to send a member of each of the tribes into the land. And so, just as God had commanded, Moses did that. He told the men what to do. He said to go see what the land is like. Are the people who live there strong? Are they weak? Are there many of them? Are there just a few? What do the cities look like? Are there camps? Are there forts? Is the land good for farming? Are there any trees? Moses told the men to be courageous. Just as Joshua 1:9 says, be strong, brave, courageous, and not afraid. Do not lose hope because God is with you wherever you go. So the men went and they scouted the land and they traveled around for 40 days. That is a really long time to be traveling. So they were checking out everything, and they even found humongous grapes that were so big that they had to get a stick so that they could carry them back because they wanted to show everybody. So let's pause right there because we could make our own grapes. So I just found a plain old purple napkin in my house. If you have purple construction paper, that would work. You could even color purple circles on a paper and cut it out. So I just took my napkin and I cut out some circles, and then I glued them onto my paper plate into a pattern that looks like a bunch of grapes. And then I just drew a stem and some leaves. So I can hang this up and be reminded of our story today. And you can do the same. So they brought back these humongous grapes to show everyone just how the land was flowing with milk and honey. It was such good land, but the people living there were stronger than they were. And the cities were large and they were well protected. And Caleb, who was one of the spies who was sent out to scout the land, he said, we must go and take possession of this land. We certainly can conquer it with God's help. But the other men disagreed. They were kind of afraid. We cannot go up against those people, they said. They are so much stronger than we are. Are you kidding? We looked like grasshoppers compared to them. That gives me an idea. We could actually hop around like grasshoppers and play tag. Do you know how a grasshopper hops? Get down on all fours of your hands and your feet and just hop around and try to tag maybe somebody in your house. Maybe mom or dad or a brother or sister could play this game with you. So they were feeling pretty small like a little grasshopper. And the Israelites were afraid, and they cried all night. They thought Moses and Aaron had brought them to Canaan to die. The Israelites said, we need to appoint a new leader, and then we'll go back to Egypt. Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before the Israelites. Joshua and Caleb, who had scouted out the land, they tore their clothing, and they said to the Israelites, the land that we explored is extremely good land. And if the Lord is pleased with us, he will give it to us. Do not be afraid of the people living there. God is with us always. The Lord spoke to Moses. How long will these people despise me, he asked. How long will they not trust me? God threatened to destroy all the people, but Moses said, please, God, forgive them of their wrongdoing. I know that you are great, faithful, and loving. God replied, since you have asked, I will forgive them. but none of them who despised me will live to see the promised land of Canaan. Since Caleb and Joshua had followed God completely, God decided to let them enter the promised land. The Israelites who did not trust God would face their consequences for their sin, and they would wander in the wilderness for 40 years, and they would not enter the promised land. All the spies who went out to scout the land died, except for Joshua and Caleb. So this week, I would love for you to be reminded of our story and that God is with you always. And I hope that the grapes that you make and the grasshopper game that you can play will help you be reminded that he is always with you. One other thing I thought of that you could do is to play an I Spy game around your house. Maybe you could go outside in nature. Nature starts with letter N, and find some things out there that maybe you would even find some grapes. I don't know. Maybe if you go to the grocery store, you could see some grapes, or mom or dad could bring some home. But I hope that you have an awesome week. I miss you all a lot. And if you want to send me pictures or texts, I always love to get them. I'll see you soon.